My name is Moses Powell. I've been studying jiu-jitsu for the last 20 years. I'm the master for Renda Visitational. And at this particular time, I'm a senior master in the art of jiu-jitsu Te and jiu-jitsu Ryu.
.radio.net presents to you some of the most deadly jiu-jitsu masters in the world. Trained in the vicious urban inner-city street combat system of Sanuces Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, this art was created by the legendary Dr. Moses Powell, the father of American contemporary jiu-jitsu and the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. This network brings together 4 radio shows 4 nights a week, starting with Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Each one teach one, with the Pia Master himself, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad, and his protege, Professor Terrence Hale. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Modern Combat Masters, hosted by the inheritor of GM Billy Davis Jiu-Jitsu, guru of his own Filipino system, and Sanuces Master, Grandmaster Darrell Sargent, and his co-host, SIFU RESTITA DEJESUS. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is Professor Tom Curry's radio talk show, a Kenpo master and professor of Sanuces Ryu, 20 years law enforcement, senior tactical training instructor for intelligence retired, and author of the official Sanuces Ryu Jiu-Jitsu testing and training curriculum. And Friday nights at 8 p.m. is Making the Connection, hosted by the president of DocRadio.net, Grandmaster in the art of Sanuces Ryu and SOKE of Kuroshi Kaikan martial arts system, and president of the Family of Sanuces organization, SOKE HAISAN KALAEK, and his co-host, SHIHAN FAROUQ GIBBS. All of these shows can be linked to online by typing in docradio.net or listening live at the scheduled time by dialing 646-716-6825. DocRadio.net is also proud to present DocMagazine.net, the world's largest martial art magazine dedicated to Dr. Moses Powell, Sanuces Ryu Eye-to-Eye Jiu-Jitsu, Urban Tactical Street Self-Defense, and Streetology. Please join our Facebook group by typing in docradio.net and follow us on Twitter by typing docradio.net. Thank you for your support, and in the words of Doc, eye to eye, heart to heart, to the wall and back, os.
Good evening.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening. This is Fukan Shabazz calling for the On the Mat show from the Senjokai Dojo in Atlanta, Word Within Dojo. Tonight we have a special guest, Sijo Abdul Mutakabbir of the Swam Academy, who's also a knife down in Sanuces Ryu. My co-host Shihan Saladin is on his way, and also my co-host the Joker, my dojo brother, will be joining us today as well. While I'm waiting on my guests, I think I'm gonna just try to go ahead and give him a call. Let me just, Sijo, who is a living legend in his own right, will be joining in today. Let me just see, call.
Peace be unto you. This is Sijo Abdul Mutakabbir, the founder and the director of Swam Academy of Martial.
All right, let's see. Hey, Saladin?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to On the Mat. Hold on one second. Let me just see something. 4583, is this Sijo? Okay. Hold on one second.
No problem. I'm going to mute my phone, so if you don't hear me, it's because I'm on mute. I'm in a very, very noisy area. things on them.
Yes, Shihan?
Yes, I'm
Shihan. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'm going to call Sijo right now live. I'm going to call him right from the show. So let me just dial him in.
Listen,
okay, one
Shabazz,
second.
I'm in a noisy area.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Sijo. This is Shabazz and Shihan Salahuddin on the Mat Show. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Well, alaikum salam. Hey, before we start the interview, Shihan, did you have something to say?
No, I just want to give Sijo salams, my good brother. How you doing?
Hey, good brother. How you doing? Long time no see or hear from, brother. You know, I miss you down here on the mat. You know, I haven't been able to get down here to Jacques in a minute. Been quite busy.
Yes,
you know, trying to do some profound things in the world right now. You know, so take my time away from that to transition right now. You know.
Yeah, no problem. Jacques definitely asked about you, and actually he'll be in New York this weekend. So if you're up north, you might see him.
No, yeah, I'm down here right now. I'm working a lot with the masjids right now, and then some other things I really don't want to speak on right now because it's so profound that once it's revealed, it's going to definitely do some very powerful things, and I was helping a lot of brothers to be able to help a lot of other people, you know. So that's what we're working on right now, you know. We're on the move.
All right, well, listen.
Thanks.
No problem.
All right,
Listen, go ahead and start the show, and I'm going to mute my phone because I got a lot of noise, outside noise, so you won't be able to hear me, but I'll be listening in, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
All right, so for all my friends who's listening to tonight, I got on the phone Sijo Mutakabbir. Just to kind of put this in context, who this man is. This is actually our 23rd show. We've interviewed 23 masters. He's our 23rd master we've interviewed thus far. 23 is actually the number of Michael Jordan. So when it comes to the elite, in terms of the elite martial artists generally, and as it relates to African Americans specifically, Sijo Mutakabbir is definitely, and he would be considered among the Michael Jordan of martial arts in the world. So this is the caliber of martial arts that's actually on the other line. Before I get into the show, I'm just going to read a little bit about who he is. Sijo Mutakabbir is a master teacher who trained and coaches students and competitors in all major arenas of the martial arts world, MMA, reality, as well as lethal ground and pound. As the founder and director of the Swam Academy of Modern Martial Arts and the creator of the Fujika boxing system, Master Abdul's martial arts stories span far and wide. The original Swam, located in South Jamaica, Queens, was established in 1977 in one of New York City's most notorious neighborhoods. Mutakabbir's vision to help individuals, families, and communities has found expression and thrived through the Swam. In 1992, Swam successfully expanded its operation to the Atlanta, Georgia metropolitan area. Mutakabbir is virtually a lifelong martial artist. He has studied numerous fighting systems, tutored by some of the most renowned martial artists in history. Starting at the age of 11, he has earned countless titles throughout the country, combining constant study, work, and commitment to be one of the best. His dedication made him the New York State Triple Crown champion for 20 years. So with no further ado, I just want to give Sijo a formal applause. All right, Sijo, how you feeling today, brother?
I'm doing great. It seemed like you went, your mic went down for a minute.
Okay. Hey, is it good now?
Yeah, it's good now. I can hear it.
Okay. So just like all the masters that came before you in the show, I focus primarily on your Sanuces life. So although a lot of masters that come in the show, some may come from, other backgrounds, but one thing you all guys have in common is Dr. Moses Powell. So for time constraints, I would like for you to tell the audience about, how did you meet Dr. Moses Powell, and how did you come into the Sanuces rule system?
Alhamdulillah. First, I'd like to say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. It's only with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I was able to come into the martial art world and really to be on this show. So definitely I want to give the greetings to you, my brother, and thank you and commemorate you for the great work that you're doing, exposing us, myself, to the world. And I'd like to thank the audience for taking their time to listen to the words that will come out of my mouth to express my history about my relationship with the late Dr. Moses Powell and some other great masters I had the opportunity to train with and who I am training with now. I met Dr. Powell when I was about maybe, 16 years old. At that particular time, I was training with a brother by the name now. His name is Abdul. At that time, his name was Monroe Morrow. During the time that I was coming up in New York City, I was in a dojo called Dynamic Karate Studio, where another great warrior was training with me by the name of Earl Bennett. Me and Earl Bennett and, at that time, Monroe Morrow, we were basically the only three that was basically training strong karate in the Dynamic Karate Studio. But we was going to tournaments, competing with individuals like Dr. Powell and Frank Royce and Master Hamilton and George Cofield, Import Pardue and Frank Royce, who were basically putting almost like 10, 15, 20, 30 of their black belts into those martial art arenas. It was just us three that was competing at the time. And what happened was Dr. Powell admired us from the spirit and the warrior heart that we had. He used to always come by our dojo, but I didn't really know who he was at that particular time. But I'd seen him perform many times, and I was always fascinated with the Sanuces way. But at that time, Sanuces to me was just an offensive type of system. And it was more of a defensive type of system, and I was basically came from a background of an offensive type of system. So my teacher would basically, or he would tell us, he said, well, we have our own way. We don't really cross lines and go into other schools. At that time, you were basically, your Bushido and your way was just in one dojo. So we just basically stayed to ourselves. But then as time went on, as I got older and more involved in the martial arts, I got into the Nation of Islam. I fought into a martial art tournament, and Dr. Powell was the chief simba, the master judge. And I hit an individual in the nose with a Mawashi Gari, which is a round kick. I broke his nose. And Dr. Powell looked at me, and he seen I was much more humble than I was before. Because at that time, before I was Abdul Mutakabbir, I was known as the Savage One, Savage Jackson. And he said, are you Muslim now? I said, yes, sir. He said, you need to come train with me. I said, it would be my honor. So I went to his school. I went there with a white belt on. And he smiled at me. He said, you humble brother. I said, well, I don't know your system. I said, I want to learn everything you can teach me, and I don't want to basically interfere my energy or my way with the way that you've given me. And so he asked me to come to the black belt class, which was on a Friday night at that time. I went to that class. He had about 50 black belts on the floor, and I was the only white belt. And everybody looked at me like I was like the ugly duckling or something, so to speak. Everybody told me beautiful moves and beautiful techniques and things like that. I couldn't roll, couldn't fall. I was hurting myself and everything like that. And they was like, well, why don't you just go sit down? And so I was humble. I went and sat down, and everybody looked at me like, man, what is this guy doing on the mat? So when it came time to fight, they had this individual guy, the name of Louis Negligee, which was basically one of Iron Bank's world champions. And he was wiping the floor with all of the individuals. This is primarily a black school. This white boy was wiping the floor with all these brothers, great warriors. And I asked Pedro, can I get a chance to move with him? Pedro, well, I was basically some kind of retard or something because he seen how I was performing on the mat. And he said my capability wasn't that good. And he was like, no, you just sit down. So Dr. Powell came behind the mirror. He had this one-way mirror where he can see you, but you can't see him. He said, let him move. And I moved. And I just basically blasted him. At that particular time, everybody said, wait a minute, you look familiar. Because they seen my technique. And they said, because at that time I cut my afro off and I had like a Caesar haircut. They said, you were a brother Barry? I said, yes, sir. And they, and Dr. Powell spoke very highly of me. He said, listen, if I put a brother on the mat, it's for a reason why I put the brother on the mat. The brother's humble, and basically he didn't, kind of like present himself like he was some big guy over you guys, or he was some particular individual, he had to prove himself. He just basically stayed in, in his realm. At that particular time, after that, everybody took a likeness to me, and he was like, you can roll this way, you fall this way, do the technique like this, do the technique like that. So he fell in love. That little John found out I was there, and me and little John, every Friday, me and his brother would fight all day, like 2 or 3 hours, just fighting. It became such a routine that Master George Cofield, Professor V, Thomas LaPuppet, great Thomas LaPuppet, and Dr. Powell, they used to sit to the side on the side and watch me and little John fight for hours with each other, because we were two great fighters from two different realms. And it was just a beautiful thing. So that was basically my first time really being with Dr. Powell, and that was when they had the Black Family Day. And that was basically when Pedro and Noel and Chuck, Alberta, Veronica, a lot of the great ones that basically are almost like unsung warriors that people don't even really remember them no more, because they got so many new guys on the mat. But I was basically an individual that always trained under many different teachers. And then the reason why I did that, because I'm somewhat like an archaeologist in the martial arts. I believe all martial arts is good. We should never argue and compare negatively. We should always argue. We should always compare positively, but not negatively, because martial arts is like a broken circle, really. Everybody got like a piece. That's why it's called martial arts. And once we begin to understand our piece and realize we really don't know anything compared to what there is to know, and we realize that we can accept information in each other's philosophy, and we can grow, develop, and have something profound, something unique to be able to leave here and teach our young ones. Because real martial arts is not really physical. That's the lower form of martial arts. The higher form of martial arts is really the battle within your mind, the diabolical mind, divine spirit, really fight for a representation of your human soul. And this is really what the really martial arts, when they get to that high level, like in a movie called The 36th Chamber. In The 36th Chamber, this monk was warrior. He wanted to be a monk. And he didn't want to start at the first chamber. He wanted to go through the 36th chamber. But the monks was telling us, you got to go through the due process. You got to go through this. But he didn't have the patience, because he had another agenda. So they said, all right, you go to the 36th chamber. When he went to the 36th chamber, he realized the monks wasn't doing martial arts. They already bypassed. They went past that. Not bypassed. They went past it already. They finished that process. It was on the spirit realm. This is where I'm at right now. I'm not in the point where I have to basically prove myself to be able to impress anyone. My thing is I'm on a mission in my existence. That's basically to help me make this world. And the way I do it is through the martial arts. And I understand that in order for me to become somewhat of a good example, I have to basically conquer my inner spirit, conquer my inner self, refine my character. And I do that through the martial arts by developing myself as the best warrior they possibly can be inside out, not outside in. So this is what forms teach you. Forms teach you integrity, develops your character, which is basically almost like a dying art. People don't want to practice no more because they'll focus on the MMA, which is really MMA, kind of like almost killed the spirit of Bushido, because it's basically just a gladiator spirit, which is great. It's a great art, but it's not really like the spirit art. We basically...
Sijo,
go ahead.
Sijo, I'm on the phone tonight with Sijo Mutakabbir. Call in 619-996-1602. Sijo, I had the opportunity to train with you briefly, and I mean, it was really an honor. And one thing that stood out about seeing you move on the floor, like I told the other day, was that when people ask me about you, my words for you is always I don't say martial artist, I don't say master, anything like that. I don't say grandmaster. I just say killer, because when I see you on the mat, I can remember right now. I was at the Shrine of the Black Madonna, and I mean that's what I felt like I was looking at. I felt like I was looking at a self-restrained killer, and it's very rare you see something like that. And what I'm curious to know is, what influence did Dr. Moses Powell have on your high level of martial arts skill?
Well, a simple word. We always say, you can never tell the individual that he's stiff when he flows like the water. You know, and what happened is that through my I developed a hyper system inside the Sanuces. I'm like one of the only ones on the Sanuces level that came from a different perspective from the Kung Fu level. You know, I kind of infused the Kung Fu with the karate and, you know, with the Aikido and you know, and these different other arts. And I'm constantly doing it, even with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And to the point where it's like I just stamp it and say, like a formula, I just say Bismillah, and, you know, and focus on how Doc moves. And it just basically makes me, like, I get into a flow. And, you know, it's like I don't even concentrate on, really, I don't even concentrate on what I'm going to do. I am what I do, so to speak. You know, like, we look at the Swam as like, or the Sanuces, we look at the Sanuces and the Swam, we call it Sanuces Plus, like Brother Riot said, which is basically the seventh disciple of Swam, which was on your show. We look at it the way where it's like, you know, it's just a freedom of motion. I don't have to think about what I'm going to do. I am what I do. Because I train it so much that it's a part of me. It's my life. So, I mean, you know, it ain't where I got to make up a technique. I am the technique. It's not speaking from an arrogant way. It's just speaking from the truth. I mean, I train, you know, I believe systematical practice develops spontaneous reaction. So I'm constantly developing.
Can you break that down? Can you break that down, what you just said, systematic? Can you go back to that and break down the difference between the two?
Well, I say systematical practice develops spontaneous reaction. That means that, you know, you constantly do things over and over and over so you understand it. Because, see, knowledge is good, but, you know, knowledge without understanding counts for naught. You can basically go through moves, you know, and it's like basically it's just an art, but it's not martial science. I'm not just focused on martial arts. I'm focused on martial science. You know, I'm not going into the technique and really understand how it really moves, what makes that move become alive. It's like I think the only ones who's doing it, so to speak, that are really analyzing what they're doing, a lot of the Brazilians, like, you know, like individuals like if you look at Jacare, the way he teaches, and Prino, you know, one of his great students, and some of the other Brazilian masters, they really focus on breaking that particular technique down, and they constantly do it over and over and over and over and over until it becomes second nature, to the point where they don't even have to really do the technique to demonstrate as basically a performance piece. They can do it when they spar. It comes like that. So that's basically how, you know, your technique should be done, period, even when you fight, like the samurai. In order for me to develop a master cut, you have to swing that sword or do that same cut over 1 million times. Then you have to start counting another 1 million, and then 1 million on top of that. Well, it's the same way. You know, as you're doing martial arts, you know, you got to constantly keep practicing, you know, on things that are simple, and understand the science of the simplisticalness of that move, because all techniques an unlimited amount of techniques come from one move. So this is where the confusion comes with a lot of martial arts, because, you know, we get caught up on the style, we get caught up on these expressions, and really all those expressions are really just like a dance, you know, if we don't understand the science. Like my Kung Fu teacher told me, he said, yeah, you got to go form, but this is just a dance without really understanding how the chi move, how the energy move. So like I teach my students, I said, there's 3 things you have to focus on. Number 1, you have to have...
Caesar, let me ask you a question. What the movement, the expression of Doc, what did Doc expression, how did Doc expression, you coming from a Kung Fu background in the Sanuces family, what did Doc expression? How did he elevate your Kung Fu experience? Like what did he do to your movement, as a disciple of Doc specifically? What did Doc's movement do to influence your style? How did he influence your style?
Well, Doc didn't do anything to my movement. What Doc did was he did something to my concept. You know what I mean? You know. He made the technique that I was learning, he made it become real. If I went to Doc, I already trained under 5 different masters. And he said, everything you know, he said, I'm going to teach you now how to make it move, how to make it real. I'm show you how to use the application, how the application work of the movements that you do. And so that's what the Sanuces do. See, Sanuces means live wire to me. That's what it means, live wire. It's a live wire. You can take any type of martial arts, you plug it in Sanuces, it becomes alive. Anything. Because Doc was gifted with that. He was basically one of the first ones that have come from us, or the first one to come from us, that was able to, was blessed with this type of information. Now, as far as I don't know if he knew 100% of his awareness of the power that he possessed. I don't know, because he was definitely blessed with a torch that really no one really had the capable at this point right now to hold, and the tarry. That's why there's so much fitna of confusion in the Sanuces families. But those who have been touched by Doc, definitely you can see the light on them. And this is why, I told Anthony and Bill and all of us, there's no big eyed little U's in the family, and that's why I made a record about the Sanuces, about Dr. Powell. And I was explaining that we all together are one holistical expression of Doc, because we all have our own ways, and once we come together, then you're going to see Sanuces at his best, and so, what Doc did was Doc just basically gave me, like some dialogue, and basically told me and pointed me in the direction of how to do this thing, because at first, it's all about natural fighting. Doc he's just a fighter, he's just a warrior. He just basically look, just do you. That's what Sanuces is. Just do you. That's all it is. It's sidewalk fighting. Sanuces means sidewalk fighting. And anybody can thump, but it's the science and how to thump is what Doc is teaching you, and that's what makes it so brutal, because it expresses really.
And I want to stop right there, because you definitely qualify as a martial scientist. So let me ask you, in that science, in the nucleus, the nuclei of Dr. Moses Powell's system, in the eye of that hurricane, what SOKE HAISAN, he said it so cleverly, and I'm still playing that back. He said that Sanuces is the element of creation. That basically, from this element, it's supposed to inspire you to basically, bring your swam or your Kuroshi Kaikan or your VSK or whatever may have you, or if you're just, or if you're a fundamentalist and you don't add anything to it, you should find your element of creation within your own fundamentalism. But for you, what is that nucleus that makes it that live wire? It may be hard to express, but me not having nowhere near as much knowledge you have. But to the layman, how can you express that? How can you express that nucleus?
Well, it's what I just said, and I'll repeat it again. It was the dialogue that Doc gave me. I had a lot of opportunity. It's not so much. See, this is where people get messed up at life. People think sometimes you just got to be physically taught. Physically, you learn things physically, but sometimes it's the philosophy that, it's the dialogue. It's the quality time sitting with a person sometimes that basically brings that energy to that next level. It's like, like the Sahabas, when they was walking with Prophet Muhammad, they became powerful individuals just basically being around them. The light of Noor began to emulate on them. It's the same thing. I walked with Doc, for a long time. Before, a lot of the brothers on the mat right now, but I don't speak about it. Because it's not relevant to me. Like I said, I've been a Doc for a long time. I did demonstrations with Doc in front of 50,000 people, in all the different bazaars and things like that. Me and Sugar Cross and all of us. I know these guys. A lot of them. When they was at their prime, I was their enemy at another school. We were fighting against each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at that time, in those days, those were like the days of blood and guts, are called. The days
Hey, Sijo, tell me about that 50,000. What event was that when you guys was in front of 50,000 people? Where was this at?
That was it was many bazaars that, the black bazaars, the Muslim bazaars that we used to give. It'd be 50,000 people, sometimes 100,000 people come out, it was just amazing. I don't know, if you ever stood in front of.
I never. What is a bazaar? What is that?
Bazaar is like it's a gathering where during those days in the '60s, where the Honorable Muhammad or Minister Louis Farrakhan, they came together and they gave these different events to be able to bring the congregation of the communities together. Whereas individuals they shared information with each other, as far as communication and as far as selling different, garments and, like incense and things like that. This was the gathering. These are things that really need to be done again. It was just basically showing unity in the community. That's what it was. And so, Minister Louis Farrakhan at that time, he always basically had Dr. Moses Powell and a brother named Hussein Shabazz, Thomas Body, these great warriors during the 60s and so forth that used to always demonstrate. These were like basically the top elite warriors of the Nation of Islam, and I was basically, of course, with the Sanuces back then, and Dr. Powell would always take a few brothers out, and we'd be the ones that basically he show and demonstrate his great skills on. And then one time he knocked me out in one of the bazaars, and he never looked at me. He just had this thing just come along. We grab your wrist, he pick you up in the air and just knock you down, and one knee look up in the air, and you rub my cheek. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Get up and roll out then." And as I rolled out, it shook across and flew over my head. It was a powerful thing, you know what I mean? Just basically, like a hand and thousands of people, woo, ah, and look at all that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely. It was powerful, And
hey, Sijo, I know you only had 30 minutes, and I know only got one more minute left with you. So I'm just gonna ask you one.
Yeah, a little longer. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm just gonna ask you two last questions. Just to kind of switch the mood. I got a segment where I call Heart to Heart. So let me just go ahead and play that out. Yeah. All right. So in this Heart to Heart segment, the first question I want to ask you is, in your history of, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. You led a movement in South Jamaica, Queens, which which back in the day and probably still is one of the most dangerous communities in the New York City area. That basically help clean up and get rid of cats like the fat cats, like the Supreme Team. Is that right? Am I quoting that history right?
Well, somewhat. I mean, we didn't get rid of Fat Cat and Cream and them, because the police got rid of them when they had the invasion that came through, and they had that invasion on 150th Street, and they kind of like basically.
But before you talk about that history, I'm just going to play a little bit of off YouTube, what that era was like, and then I'll let you talk on it. Hold on 1 second, Caesar.
I've been there with the Queen since '84. I was about 15. And it all started over here. We used to have this dope court. We was making about, I kid you no lie, we was getting about maybe 150,000 a week, man. This whole shit used to be before nothing to dope states and all that shit. But you used to see Bimmy out here? Yeah, Bimmy was the one that hit everybody off. Bimmy was the boss. Bimmy was the boss. He was hitting everybody off. Everybody. One of my blocks getting like 50,000 a day. I come through. Oh yeah. All right, night. We're 50. You know what I'm saying? Okay, good. But it was crazy out here, man. Like this block right here. A lot of people came through this block. Shit. How much money did you do? Getting mad money. Yeah. They were getting so much money through this block. Nigga bring about a half a kid here. That shit is going in a day.
Sijo?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I was just trying to play my audience the realness of just realness of where these arts come from. And Sijo, definitely that plays into the reality of ghetto rule. So basically, just to wrap it up, so I know you got to teach a class. I want you to tie in ghetto rule as it relates to what I just played, and also because that was actually a part of South Jamaica, Queens, and I want you to talk about what your movement did in terms of help clean up the community, and we'll just wrap it up tonight.
Basically, what happened when they had the invasion on 50th Street when Fat Cat and Cream and Corley and Pappy Mason, those brothers basically got locked down. You know, after that, a lot of the individuals that wanted to be like Fat Cat and Prima Corley and them, they began to move into more populated area where the people, because they left 50th Street because 50th Street was closed down, and moved more into like the 107, 108, and those particular areas, and they began to hibernate right in front of the masjids and the churches and things like that. And what happened was a young brother got killed. He got shot a few times, and basically I just seen a lot of different wrongs in the community. And at that particular time, you know, it was just too much that I could bear, you know. So I decided to talk to these individuals, and I had spoken to one of them and told him, I said, listen, you know, it's the second time I spoke to you, you know what I mean? And I said, you know, we ain't going to be able to have this conversation again. I said, you're going to look up one day, and it's going to be a black cloud. And I said, when this black cloud comes, a bus won't be able to move. Nothing in this neighborhood will be able to move because it's going to become thunder from this black cloud. It's going to shut everything down. They thought I was talking about a cloud in the sky and thunder in the sky. And the individual said 2 times, "This is the first time you spoke to me." I said, well, the first time I spoke to you with my heart. Now I'm speaking to you with my words. I said, there's no third time we're going to talk. So, you know, at that particular time, you know, I went into, had a meeting in Brooklyn with some of the Amirs. One of the Amirs, Ali Kareem, and a few other brothers from different boroughs, and, you know, we got together, and I told them I'm going to put a siege on this community. I said, I'll do it with you or without you. I'd rather do it with you. So me and the Swan brothers are going to do it ourselves. So what happened, the brothers had much love for me, as they do now, and I do for them. We decided to come together and develop the United Islamic Security Forces. And basically what happened was we were already in place. We were ready to make our move. You know what I mean? After the imams and the preachers basically gave their speech, we basically told all of the good people to get out of Dodge because now we can ready to make our move. And so for 40 days, a little over, we shut down that particular area, stopped over $200,000 to $300,000 of the drugs per day in that neighborhood. You know, and going the consequences, basically what happened. But, you know, Allah bless it, be very successful in that. And from that, then we moved down the block because I got calls from a lot of clean people that basically wanted to assist us. I said, no, we don't need your help. I said, when we get finished, we're going on the base boulevard. We're going to close that down. And that was $1 million worth of drugs we shot down a day in that area. See, so, you know, when they talk about these drug sieges and so forth, about what the Nation of Islam did, and what other different people did, we were basically the first pioneers that done that. You know, and alhamdulillah, you know, and we were very successful, you know, in doing that because we had the support of the people, but most and foremost we had the support of Allah, and we had the courage of the brothers that was with us that was able to come together, you know, and with no fear, you know, and just basically do what we had to do. And that was it. But that unity, you don't have that too strong today because now today we got more males than we got men.
Sijo, it's an honor. Sijo, it was an honor talking to you. You know, I mean, you know, like I said, man, it's an honor talking to all you elders and all you guys listening. This is the 23rd elder I talked to, and I want to thank all of you guys for taking time to talk to me and my Shihan. And I mean, you know, this is history, and it's, you know, we love you. You know, the younger generation, we love you guys. We love what you represent. And and as long as I'm living, as long as Shihan's living, as long as all the true warriors coming up living, we're gonna hold you guys down. And I just want to say, you know, our dojo Sinja, you know, in the works, you know, the Sijo, you know, we got a martial arts promotion company coming out soon, and you guys stay tuned. And like I told you, Sijo, I'm talking about the Crossings, Grandmaster Cross. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to a couple other brothers, and you know, and we want to deep root this ghetto rule, this Sanuces, this stuff that we know come from the streets. We want to deep root it here in the South, and so you know, so you know, just look out for that resurrection. Shihan, before I let the Sijo go, do you got any closing remarks?
No, Sijo, I just want to thank you, man. You know, you are definitely my elder and my real good friend and my dear Muslim brother, man. And since I done rode with you and played with you, I know how dangerous you really are, and I know how careful and how loving of a brother you are, man. So I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, man. We definitely want to let the crowd hear just a little bit And hopefully when we get a little bit more time, we'd love to bring you back on, man, and move further and deep into some of the spiritual side of SWAM and some of the spiritual side of Sanuces and other things. But you got a lot of things you touch on, brother. And we only gave our audience a taste of just a little nibble of that pie, you know. So inshallah, Allah bless us. We'll be able to get back together, maybe do a second show a little longer with you, and we can get in more details about, South Jamaica, Queens, the New York experience when you came to Atlanta, time training with Doc and anybody else you trained with, and just get real deep into Sijo and his relationship with Dr. Moses Powell and the Sanuces Rue family.
I appreciate both of you brothers for having me on your show, and I commemorate you all again, man, for the great work that you guys are doing. Definitely God got his hands all on you, because what y'all do is good, and everything is good come from God, you know, and everything bad come from us and the devil. So we trying to stay away from those things and so forth. So again, man, I commemorate you guys, and just keep up the good work. And definitely, I'm looking forward to be able to come again, to be on your show and talk to you guys, and be able to, to do whatever I can do to be able to give my information to the audience, because we don't have that long to be on this earth. We're all destined to take this dirt bath, and just basically want to make a positive mark, as warriors and so forth, to be able to do something for our people. Remember, I leave you with this. In China, it was the Boxers that saved the people. The Boxers rebellion. So we have, as Boxers, we have to basically save our people, because nobody else is really standing up, the way the warriors are standing up. And the warriors are the ones that make warriors, today we have a few good men, but we got a lot of males. So I'm developing a program that I'm getting ready to launch very soon to the prisons. I want to talk to these cold killers in prison and these individuals that have 100 years to life and things like that. I want to talk to them, and the theme is going to be stand up our brothers' behinds and get into their minds. You see, because we have to save our brothers, from becoming these degenerate, deformed freaks and things like that, and come back out and give these diseases to our sisters and to each other and things like that there. This is what we have to do. We have to take the martial arts to a higher level and teach people that martial arts is not about, again, kicking and punching, but it's about conquering, the positive self, understanding the confrontation between the diabolical mind and the divine spirit. That's basically having this confrontation with your human soul. We have to go on those levels now to be able to educate our people, And then, let the audience know that audience out there, go look at my YouTube piece. I got a piece up there. Y'all can, see me do a few things. It's called mysijo.com or YouTube, sijo.com. And, you can comment on it. Let me know how you feel. We're going to be putting a lot of different pieces out on spiritual level as well as physical. So my brother,
tell the people how to find you, by the way, both in Georgia and give the address, as well as you had to mention the website, but how to contact you in case they're interested in doing some training.
Good. Well, you can call up my number. My number is 78425-542. We get ready to put another website up there. It's going to be called SWAM Academy of Martial Arts. That's for the Masjid of Atlanta. We over here in the Masjid of Atlanta on over that Fairview.
Yeah. My daughters go to that school. Yeah.
Right. Yes, we're over there on Saturdays. We're teaching the brothers over there, and from 11 to 2, and we're teaching the youth over there at the same time, from 11 to 12. We're starting the same time, and we have like 9 different schools throughout the country. But like our main headquarters is in 107-31 Sutherland Boulevard in South Jamaica, Queens. Been there for the last 35 years, and that's profound, because how do you know African Americans in anything they do, let alone martial arts, have any type of institution that's been stabilized that long for 35 years. Only basically Europeans have that, or foreigners, but we don't have things like that. We 2, 3, 4, 5 years run and it's gone. But 35 years we've been there, and we've been doing some powerful things in that neighborhood. I even lost a son in that neighborhood, in my fight against these madness that's out there. But the Creator seen for me to still stay out in that community and still try to save lives. And this is what we're doing. That's why I say SWAM itself means spiritual warriors against madness. Soldiers with a mission. Surely we are men. Smart women and men. Strong, wise, achieving mind. spiritual wisdom applied measurably, a spiritual warrior, Abdul Mutakabbir. So it means a lot of different things, you know, and this is what we're doing, you know. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Awesome. All right, Shabazz, go ahead and take us out. Sijo, thanks again.
All right, so Sijo, we always end the show in a tradition where we say eye to eye and we say and heart to heart. So we're gonna wrap it up, and like I said, tonight I'm talking to a living legend, Teacher Abdul Mutakabbir of the Swam Academy, and to the audience.